Guys, Dr. K, little cars and coaching. Sun is setting to the left of us, kind of blurring the view a little bit. But, we talk about burnout all of the time. And we think that that's extremely important as it is. And people are burning out, not only in the medical field, but in all different fields. And what's part of the reason why people are burning out? Burning out because they really don't have any autonomy. They don't have the autonomy or the ability to make decisions. And they feel as though they don't have any control. There's different things that we could control and things that we can't control, right? So when you talk about Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about a circle of influence, and he talks about a circle of concerns, right? And the circle of concerns are all of the things on the outside. Weather, that's the economy, that's other people. And then circle of influence is all of the things that we could actually do something about. It's also called the locus of control. And there's an internal and an external locus of control. So if you look at the external locus of control, what are you really looking at? You're looking at things like our environment, political environment. There's the financial environment, the stock market, the economy. There's the weather. Those are things, no matter how hard we try, we won't be able to control. Might be able to influence them to some extent, depending on our position, but we never will be able to completely control them. Also, the external locus of control, what else is there? There's people there, right? And we think that we could control people, but we really can't control people, right? You might be able to influence them, but you're not going to force anybody to change unless they want to change. And then the other aspect is really the past, right? We try to control the past, we try to control the future. When really the only thing that we can't control is our behavior in the present, which really is the only thing that we could control. So you've got the environment, you've got people, and you've got the past, the present, and the future, all in that external area of locus of control. Now, if you spend all of your time trying to control those things, that's where we run into a problem, because we can't control those things. And because we can't control those things, what happens? We end up getting frustrated. We end up getting fearful. There's a fear in the inability for us to not be able to control the future, or to control relationships, or to control the economy. And we tend to be extremely anxious, right? So when we look at the locus of control that's external and we try to control that causes a lot of negative emotions. It doesn't really get us to where we need to be. You look at the internal locus of control, or the circle of influence, that's really us. And those are the things that we can control. And it really starts with thought. For the most part, we can't control all our thoughts. Some thoughts pop in, but we can control the thoughts that we focus on. And our thoughts then do what? They create our emotion. So if we're able to control our thoughts, we're able to control how we respond, or our emotions that cause us to have a certain behavior. So our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors, those are things that we could control. And that's extremely important from that perspective, because that's the stuff that we're able to control and have control over. As we continue to do that and continue to control ourselves, how we think, our emotions, and our behavior, our circle of influence gets larger. And that circle of concerns tends to kind of get choked out a little bit. And we tend to be a lot happier with the things that we're doing, and we're not as frustrated. We're not as fearful when we start looking at those aspects. But if all we're doing is trying to control the external locus, or the circle of concern, it's kind of like beating our head against the wall, because there's no way we're going to be able to control the economy. There's no way we're going to be able to control the weather. There's no way we're going to be able to control other people. And that's really a very reactive way of going through life. We're reactive in the sense that something happens and we then try to control the situation. But if you're proactive, what you're really working on is your thought processes, your emotion, and you're working on your behaviors, because that's how that structure works, right? An event occurs, we get a thought about that event. We then go ahead and put meaning to that event. The meaning that we put to that event then causes us to have an emotion. The emotion then causes us to have a behavior, and the behavior then causes us to have a certain result. And that's a continuous loop. We do that all the time. And if we spend all of our time being reactive and trying to control things outside of our internal locus of control, get frustrated, and we tend to get burnt out. So one of the answers to being a little bit less stressed, have more control of life, is to control the things that we truly have control over. And again, thoughts, emotions, and our behavior. And that's a large portion of that is actually emotional intelligence, right? Being able to understand what our emotions are, understanding ourselves, managing our emotions. And then from an influence perspective, be able to go ahead and have empathy and truly understand what other people are feeling and where they're coming from. And then being able to build teams in that last section of emotional intelligence or relationship management. I think it's extremely important for us to be proactive, to understand the things that we could control, go ahead, try to influence things that we can't control, but don't spend time trying to control the weather. You can plan for the weather. If it's going to rain, you can bring an umbrella, but you're not going to stop the rain. Hopefully this helped.